I know that I came there with a lot of disadvantages. I know. But I felt like
You came in with disadvantages.
Correct. Because the first year, my team that I went was one of the teams that's always at the back.
You really need to be very lightweight.
Yeah, you have
and
to.
then you will lose a lot of water during the race.
Yeah.
You're technically drenched in. Hello everyone, what's up and welcome to Lesung Batu Medic Show. Today Dr. Roland bersama anda hari ini, dan hari ini saya seperti biasa akan membawakan topik-topik perbualan perubatan yang memang outbox, very different perspective tentang gaya hidup dan kesihatan. Dan bersama saya hari ini sesatu tetamu yang mungkin ramai kenal from banyak perspektif. I think he's a sportsman, he's a celebrity, he's a trader. I think he's a multi versatile individual yang sangat-sangat muda bagi saya. Bersama saya hari ini Nabil Jeffri.
Hi Doctor.
Apa khabar?
Oh, I'm great. Today, I think this is my first ever podcast before 12.
Okay, sebelum ke-12
Congrats on like bringing me on the show. Because
okay.
when I just feel like amazing lah when you called me to do the podcast.
Okay, thank you for
Thanks
being
for
here.
having me,
We can have this in dual language. English can,
Okay.
Malay can, kita rojak sama-sama, tak ada
Can.
masalah. I want to just share when I first met you. Masa I kenal you, I think about 5-6 years ago, masa tu you were still in Formula 1.
Yeah.
Not Formula 1, Formula 2 at that time. Hoping that I was saying, okay, maybe this boy is going to go into Formula 1.
Yeah.
The hope of biasa orang Malaysia kan, dulu kita ada Alex Young was one, and then we thought you going to be the next one. So how is racing coming about with you at the moment, and when was the last time you went on track?
That's a very good question, Doctor. Because I feel like I really want to share my journey about my racing. Like what actually happened to me for the last 5 years. Especially when I stopped racing lah. You know, since 2018, 2019 was my last race. I feel like a lot have happened to me in the last 4 years, 5 years. Really, racing made me the person I am today. For
Nice.
Sure. But for me, years after racing, there was so much more learnings that I could have learned. But I kind of like speed up the process because I went through the hardship of racing, like finding sponsorships along the years. Because as we spoke just now, like racing requires a lot of funds to really push you to Formula 1. Like,
And not just that, the discipline also.
the discipline as a driver, you also need to be, of course, that's like top notch. You're competing like only amongst the best in the world of like fitness, mental health, speed, talent, everything at once, you know. So you need to be at your best at 100%. So at that moment, I feel like, wow, of course, I was discovering myself, like discovering how to be the best athlete, because it's not many people know that racing takes a lot of effort. Like you have to run, for example, 40 minutes in 10 km. And if you can do that, you should
40 minutes 10k.
Yeah.
Laju tu.
Yeah, that's quite fast. So that's why in that moment, I had to try to be the fittest that I can, running wise, cycling wise. And I feel like there was one thing that was still lacking. The belief. The belief of to be able to go to Formula 1 one day was like, it was there for me. But at one point, I just realized like the mistakes that I've made along the way that not made me in Formula 1. Because I think what happened to me was, imagine my dad, for example, we came from a normal family lah. So I don't really expect myself to become a Formula 1 driver pun one day. But his passion too, like he pushes me day in, day out. And then until one day, after I was 7, 8 years old, I realized this is my passion.
When you started that young.
Correct. At 7, 8 years old, I feel like, imagine at standard 1 after school, confirm, I buat homework habis, baru pergi track. Kalau tak habis homework, my dad kata, this is standard 1, standard 2 tau. My mom was like super strict lah. But that made me feel like, wow, I want racing so bad that I would do homework, I would do schoolwork just to go racing. So it was fun lah at that moment until I just find like, okay, I want to make this as my career, you know. So it started at 7, 8, slow step by step, and then I still did go-karting at that time. But when I was 16, that was when my turning career happened lah, from go-karting to single-seaters. So Dr. Tony Fernandez, so basically what happened is he was the one who made the jump for me. Like, you are ready, Nabil, just go for it.
That was during the Lotus.
That was correct. That was
Lotus
when
okay.
I got to be the youngest ever Formula 1 test driver lah at that time. But even before that, I think like he was the person who just like, okay, take the jump, you know, let's go. Asia will help you and stuff like that. So that happened. So for me, that moment, I'm forever thankful, like Tony, for giving me that chance. But years after, it was just like that. Every year was like, wow, what's next? What's next? What's next? It was like never I was confirmed racing for like 10 years.
Okay.
You understand or not? It was not like, okay, I planned my 10 years. No. It takes like years by year. Because there were every year at November, December, me, my dad and everyone else be stressed. Like, macam, shit, how to find funds to raise for next year? Because sponsorship was like year by year by year.
It was not a long, not like a 3 years, 5
like
years.
3 years. So we had this intense pressure at the end of the year. Like, are we able to raise?
So it was not Christmas holidays or New Year. It was just
bro.
like funding, trying to find funds and seeing whether companies yang akan have this budget allocation for their marketing and everything to co-brand with you and everything.
I was just going around my dad lah, like, you know, looking for it, and my manager as well, Uncle Syed masa tu. He's still like the guy who's supporting me until now lah. Macam all the medias and stuff, he will take care because he knows that as a racing driver pun, it's important to just have your focus on racing so that the other things he
can be
takes care.
managed. This I see.
But then we go back to the story of like, you know, getting back to racing, right? I feel it's in me. Like, I've been racing my whole life, you know, until I'm 25, 26. Now I'm 30 years old. Just got into my 30s. How old are you?
3 series. I'm in the 4 series
Oh,
already.
okay. I was thinking I'm still looking 30s. But anyways, racing really like made me the disciplined person that I can be lah. Because I feel at 30 right now, there's a few things that I wanted to achieve if I got married lah. First, like, there were a few things that I feel like, okay, when I have achieved this, then I can get married. But that's when things got interesting. I did not achieve things that I wanted, but my heart just like, I want to get married still. I'm ready for this moment.
Okay, good. That's a big leap of faith.
Yeah, because I feel like the person I was with as well, it's been with me for like 10 years, 12 years, since like right after SPM, straight away. Like,
seems like a Messi story. Like that.
Huh?
Seems like Lionel Messi. Seems like Lionel Messi he dated his girlfriend from the younger days.
But it was insane lah to see there and then until the moment I just got married. Last 8 months lah.
Okay.
But then crazy times, bro. Like,
of course, it's, you feel you will go into a different responsibility phase. From the dating phase to being married and having a wife, a spouse is definitely different. But when you go back to the days when you felt that at 16, when there were companies coming in and sponsoring, helping, but then what was the point that you felt like this is as much as I can push, but there is a stumbling block here. Was it you feel that our country is not matured enough for Formula 1, or we have big brands like Petronas now sponsoring Mercedes and everything, but why there's no prodigy team?
But that's a very good question, because I actually do have the answer to it. Because imagine if I reach to the level of F2, I would say this is because of the support of sponsors, family support, girlfriend support, up to that level. But why did I not get to Formula 1, for example? This is the biggest question that I ask myself, because
you had a Formula 2 license.
Correct, like you have to have like F2 license, not super license, that is only for F1. F2 license you can acquire when you join the league lah, for example.
Mak, kenapa muram je?
Mak risau, sakit lutut mak ni.
Jangan risau, Mak. Saya dah dapatkan tablet Cantiva 750 dari farmasi. Makanlah 1 biji sehari. Dapat legakan sakit sendi dan otot tu.
Wah, bagusnya.
Tablet Cantiva 750 melegakan sakit sendi dan otot.
Okay.
So, I feel like, what was lacking in my process? Because if I can make another, for example, if given a chance, you get this budget to do right what I did wrong, I think there could be bigger chances of that person to become in F1, because going through what I went through, plus the learnings that I've gotten, you should be better than me lah, you know? So I was just thinking. I feel like what I felt was just the karting level in Asia, in Malaysia, is not as high as in Europe. So what happened to me was I was champion in Malaysia, Asia, everywhere I went around Asia, I would win. But the moment I went to Europe, I felt like, shit, this is a crazy different level. You
different
could
game.
be you could be first in Asia, but you could be last in Europe.
It's like playing Malaysian League, then suddenly sending you
It's
to the Champions
crazy.
League.
So that's why it took me like almost a few years to get used to this. Because when I went there, it was at 2013. I did German F3. So at that time, Petronas sponsored. We went to do German F3. It was my first year. So it was like tough because I had the mentality of like, I'm already the champion at the time. Okay. And then like, I want to do my best, of course, but I didn't know it was going to be that crazy tough. So first year was like tough, but then I did not give up lah, bro. And every single day, just went to the team, learning. But then I realized one thing. This is after F2 lah. I realized that, like, you have to do high level of go-karting if you want to succeed. Like, if you ask me lah, from 6 or even from 5 to 15 years old, 10 years, if you really want to put your time to like finding your talent, true talent in your son or daughter, this 10 years is very crucial. Like, put everything of your money, of your bet, send it to Europe. Like, go stay there at 6 years old, 5 years old, school over there, learn the language so that you can communicate with the team better as well. So if you have this, at 15, you should see the talent lah.
What makes it different that you mentioned, like, okay, the Asian teams with the European teams? What do you think that they do? I want to see, like, is it because the teams are good, or is it because the mentality is different? Is it because of the way they handle the driver, the nutrition, the diet, the training,
Definitely.
the practice? What is different?
I think it's just the level of competitiveness, the level of talent we have in Europe. For me, it's high. But not to say like Asians' talents are low, no, because I've seen like Asians going there, enough time, experience, boom, they're up there with them, like even better than them. So I feel just the exposure of like these teams working professionally, how they teach you about setups. For example, at 5-6 years old, you're learning about toe in, toe out, camber in, camber out, like all these little details at 5-6. Imagine what you learn at 10, 12, 13, you know? So that's why, like, for example, Max Verstappen, he's able to go to Formula 1 because he raced go-karts and he was, like, really one of the best. And I think he is the best, like, go-karter. So, and I remember, like, when I was racing with him, I was teammates with him on my second year in F3. So I had a race with him, like, at 14, there was a race in Zandvoort. That was when I shared the podium with him. I finished second, he finished first. So at a moment as well, like why I'm saying about Max is he was special, I felt. Because as a person who was only 13, 14 at that time, came into F3, first test, boom, first position. Like, made everyone look like, wow.
A wonder kid lah.
Like wonder kid at the moment. I had that feeling. Because I was racing with him. I was also racing with Charles Leclerc. I had photos with Charles Leclerc. Like, we trained in the same gym in Italy, like 2013, 14. So I've seen how they train and how is their mindset at all trainings. This is so important.
So what does the training look like? I want to know this.
Okay, to be honest, like the training is not that intense.
Okay.
So you start at like 8, 9 in the morning.
Okay.
Usually you start with espresso and stuff like that just to kick yourself up.
So you need that coffee lah.
I usually need that coffee lah,
This
to
is
be
one thing,
honest.
right? Coffee.
And then we would have like breathing sessions first. So
Okay.
there's like a few rhythmic breathing, and then like box breathing. So this is just to keep the mindset like to start off the day.
Okay.
And then they will record your heart rate.
Okay.
So then you will like lie down for like 2 minutes, and then just the beep comes and they come back again, and then they will check, okay, what is your minimum heart rate? So if you start the day a bit high, it means that you had like a really tough day yesterday, or your body has not recovered properly yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is not even on a race day. This is just on
this
practice.
is correct. This is not this is normal day.
Every day, everything
every
is
day is like
managed.
that. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's why when I live in Italy for like 1 year, crazy doctor, like I changed to The only downside is I had too much pizza in Italy. But the trainings, the mindset, the coach, the psychology that they come and speak to you about, like, it's intense because for them, it's about mind-muscle connection. When you do anything, it's not the exercise. It's how much can you think about the exercise when you're doing it without playing with your phones. No phones is allowed in training. There's a time where you can use your phone, and then there's a time when you sleep, you have to sleep. Things like that. Because they feel like when you're training, you have to train the mind while doing it. For example, when you do the biceps, you think about your biceps. How is it contracting? So when you do this, actually, your focus is boom.
Fully focused, muscle memory. There's no Spotify, listening to a song and nothing like that.
If you ask like two different segments of people, some people cannot train without music tau. So you put them in a state where they are just themselves out there training, focusing, thinking about this. If you cannot do that at the gym for 40 minutes, how are you supposed to do in the car at like 320 kilometers per hour, for example? So
I mean, everything, every minute detail is
the training starts from there on a daily basis into becoming that. So that's where Charles Leclerc was, Alonso was. So I was always training with them, like cycling together and stuff, seeing what they eat, seeing how they are so precise on what they eat, how they feel.
So what do they eat? Do they eat like more protein, less
to be
vegetable?
honest, they are very like, I feel it's more like, because I came from like Malaysian background. So I feel like, wow, they eat salad every day. They eat all these little things yang macam, for me it was like, I don't like to eat salad, to be honest with you lah. So I had to learn how to eat because like it made me feel like, whoosh, if they want to become champions one day, I know that this is the best for me. I have to change my mindset. I have to change my eating habit. So I really changed along the years as I was racing when I learned that I have to really take care of all the things that I eat. What comes in is in your body. You have to eat properly. And
is it true that you really need to be very lightweight?
Yeah, you have
and
to.
then you will lose a lot of water during the race.
Yeah.
You're technically drenched in.
Doctor, like crazy drenched. Like even for me, because I sweat a lot. I think I have a very high metabolic rate. So when I keluar kereta, confirm lah, memang like terus basah and like baju pun like memang lencun and everything. But it's more of it's also the salt that you have already taken in before, and then like this is okay. It's part of the process of like losing 1.5 kg and stuff. It's already calculated for by the team for this reduce of weight.
So every single day this goes in and goes out. I mean, like,
Crazy. Like this is like maybe 10%, doctor.
Yeah,
like
So for people the team, they are perpetually on tracking. So you have like a dietitian, a doctor, and on
not
the
like
team.
a one-to-one, but a person in the center. Yeah. So the center is called Formula Medicine. I don't know if you know. It's one of like at that moment leading ones in the motorsport industry, because at that moment there wasn't anyone. Even up to today, there's only one competitor right now. It's called Atletica Performer and stuff. But it is just so, I mean, like everyone from all over the world would come there. And it's like in a small town called Viareggio.
Okay.
So it's not like in Milan or anywhere else. But the place is very strategic for training, because where I live, I lived in an apartment. So it's by the lake called Lido di Camaiore. So in that moment where running was easy, running by the beach, training was just like 5 minutes from the house, so I can just
very
drive there.
strategic for you lah.
And then it was like, how do I say it? I think it's a very quiet enough for you to focus on the job, but not that boring that they still had JD Sports around and stuff at that moment. Yeah.
Okay. So there was a time, I think, after that period where that resistance of like, look, we're not getting this amount of funding and sponsorship, and Formula One is becoming an expensive sport to go on. When did you? I mean, I wouldn't say you're calling it's done, but when was that pause? Like, you know what, I have to use all this knowledge and move into something different, which eventually you went into trading, like from race to trade, from seeing all this engineering analytics, now moving into financial analytics. When did that happen? What and how did that flip took place?
I think the struggle came in. It's like a yearly basis. Like I said
That
just now, year end thing. Always looking for the what's next. What am I doing next year? Am I getting the budget to continue racing next year? And then what happened is that went on and on and on and on until the last few years. This was like 2017-18, where Sepang came in. They supported me with KBS. In that moment, I feel like they were just like one of the last saviors, because like big companies coming in supporting a talent at that time, one step before F1. So I feel like, oh, this is my last straw lah. I have to do it, you know. But I know that I came there with a lot of disadvantages. I know, but I felt like
You came in with disadvantages.
Correct, because the first year my team that I went was one of the teams that's always at the back.
Okay.
So I had to carry a team that was always at the back. So that was just experience-wise. It's okay. I take my first year experience as just learning the F2 game, because I was there for 2 years. I raced F2 for 2 years. First was with this first team, and then second with Trident. So my first year was just tough, bro, because like I was so surprised with how physical the car is. Like, even all the trainings I did, I was at the fittest at that time. I could run. I did Ironman. I did half Ironman. I won in Langkawi and stuff like that. I kind of like managed to got the slot to go for the World Championship. So I was at the fittest of my life. But when I got into the car, I was done in 10 minutes. Like, crazy, bro.
What do you mean by done in 10 minutes?
I told the team like, oh my God, I couldn't turn. And like the steering wheel, when there's downforce with all these arrows, it becomes really heavy. Like you have to be like it's heavy, crazy. And on top of that, you have like neck. For example, like someone's pushing you. If you're going through a corner of like 4Gs, 5G, someone's pushing your head like this. Imagine like a 10, 20 kg of like weight, just like that. And because I came from kind of like F3, from BMW, so I didn't have this kind of like.
The car is so different.
It's different. Even that was F2, you know. So I felt like, wow. Then I told myself like, look, okay, I might have been the fittest, but I might race fit, because it's really different from like being fittest in terms of like you can do this, you can do that, you can run, you can carry weights, you can lift heavy. But for the moment of your race, what are the true muscles that you need? So that's when I went again to Formula Medicine Italy, live with them. So I've learned a lot of things. It's not just how hard you train, it's basically how much you grip your hands, for example, and how much do you utilize your muscles efficiently. So if you can not be that fit, but you use your muscles less, you're more efficient in your breathing, for example, you are able to go through the race without any issue. So I came on an approach where I thought, oh, you have to be strong, you have to be... But then it's just about being relaxed as well in that moment of tense, which was super difficult. Because imagine at like super high adrenaline, like 320, 340, going around the corner, but you have to be relaxed and like, you know, calm. Then that's why I realized being relaxed is the most important thing, because at that moment your brain can start to think, your brain can like really function and think, okay, how do you take this corner at its best? How do you, improve every single lap? Because if you're not relaxed, you cannot do that.
You're always in that stress, you're always in that fight mode.
You're in that moment of like, oh shit, you cannot. Then I realized like, oh, this is F2, it's crazy. Then I went to them, I explained to them my experience and stuff. So they said like, look, we have proper trainings and stuff like that. So that's when my second year, I was like superb in terms of race fit and stuff like that. So
this is 2018.
17, 18, I was like my super fit lah. Okay. Even until 19.
There's so much improvement after going to Italy and then
just 1 year, it was crazy. I mean, I still have, I think, the programs at home. It's not rocket science, I would say. Because when I came from a background where I thought you have to be complicated in the trainings and stuff, when I went there, the trainings could have just been like, okay, 400 push-up, 5-mile bike, 2 km run, repeat for 3 times, then come back to me. It's like, then I realized, damn, it's not that crazy. It's still cardio plus the normal kind of like weight trainings. But they really implement the mindset of like, think about it when you run. Think about it like what kind of muscles is hurting right now so that you don't have to hurt while you're driving.
Yeah, because you see, you're sitting in the cockpit technically,
Yeah.
like that. and there's no physical muscles moving
That's the
so
thing.
much, but it's more of the hand, wrist,
Yeah,
shoulders,
this.
and do you
The
feel that
legs.
the
The legs a lot.
legs
Yeah,
a lot,
legs a lot.
because the pedal, the
Correct, yeah.
shifting of gears, and
Because like the legs we have two. So one's like the accelerator,
Accelerating.
one's like the brakes.
Brake.
Because the brakes is not like the car where you just like relax, press. So this one you have to like really slam, hold the pressure, and then release. So the graph would do like pump, hold, release. So
Understand.
that's like
but you can't see it, right?
but that's why at that moment where it's at 320, you have to brake like that. So that's the thing. Everyone in the industry, if they are a racing driver, they would know. Like it's not that easy to become a racing driver, but many things is just sitting down, turning, and it's a lot more than
It's
that.
nothing like what you sitting down and just playing one of those
No,
EA sports and all,
not
nothing
really
like that.
That one you don't feel the strength at all. You know, real
So
racing
it's
it's
totally
physical lah.
different. So when that crossover moving into trading, how did that happen?
That was when I ended my career, like let's just say F2, my second year of F2, and I thought it was like end, but then it did not. You know, like God basically gave three of us chances: me, Jasman, and Ron. So this was like we got the chance to represent Malaysia. So I don't know if you know, there's this race, 24 hours race called Le Mans.
Le Mans, yes.
So that's where we kind of like got chosen to represent, to go to race for like these 6 hours, 12 hours races.
Non-stop, right?
Non-stop. So in that moment, I feel like, because I never thought about doing endurance racing. Like I just thought racing was just, okay, 1 hour, hardcore, let's just go. I never had the passion towards all this endurance racing. But then as I got to know this, you know, endurance and stuff, it's a different kind of pleasure that you get. Because then you realize working as a team is so important, because it's not just you, it's how you have your teammates understanding and able to drive the car because everyone drives differently. So to set up the car, it needs to have the right balance of like what each driver is at its best.
So everybody drives the same car.
Same car. They don't change anything about the car. So what happens is, let's just say I drive 2 hours, stop, Jasman comes in, he drives straight away the car, they just refuel, go and drive again for like 2 hours. Roland comes in, drive. So they have to adapt like really well. So that's why we have to communicate in terms of, okay, how do you like the setup to be? How do you want the degradation to be? How are you supposed to manage tires? How are you supposed to save fuel? Are you supposed to lift earlier? So these are the things that we discussed with engineers in the last year this was after F2, when I got the experience, then I kind of like fell in love in endurance racing, you know. It was a different kind of sport. It was still racing, but it was like teamwork and then like nation pride, because like we would represent Team Malaysia. And like we were up there, like if you know like names of like Pastor Maldonado, Alonso, we were racing with them together in a way for LMP2 and stuff. So I feel like, wow. And Malaysia at that time, we could have won the championship, you know.
Wow.
We could. We were honestly like second in the championship, but what happened is that the fundings got stopped. Again, bro. So, but I mean, like, I cannot complain much. I mean, like, they have done their best, I feel, and I believe. It was just not our rezeki lah in that moment to not continue racing, not being able to complete the season. But memories were made lah. We won in Japan, for example, me, Jasmine and Ron, we won. In China, we were like second, third. So that's why we were like second in championship. Starting the next year too, then the funding stopped. But of course, like at that moment, I felt down. I felt like, wow, this is just so easy to be taken like that.
Because you felt that you were probably what, 27, 20?
Correct, I was 26, going 27 at that time. So we basically could have been world
Everybody's
champion
thinking
lah.
like, well, that was like, that's my career peak is going to start now.
Correct. Because like, I've always thought like, okay, I want to get married at 28, for example, or 28 to 30-ish lah. So obviously the career needs to like be boom at like 27, like, you know, win a championship, win a world title, for example. But then like, it was close lah. We could see the end. But then the tunnel just shut lah. The last 2 races didn't race. So the 3rd, 4th, 5th guy caught up. So we didn't really like had anything lah.
But didn't have that podium.
We didn't have the championship points, but we had like winning races, 2nd, 3rds, but not like world title.
Okay.
Because it would have been different, you know. Like imagine like winning.
I mean, your life would have been different if that happened. Also.
Could have been different. Like I might have not been in trading. I might not have been doing public mutual before this. I might not be doing little business here and there, you know, to figure out like, damn, there's this life out there to find money. It's a different world, you know. It's no more racing because I didn't really associate myself with being a racing driver after that, because I just felt like I wanted to focus all out with this, because I know that I can always come back to racing later on when I have like more successful business and stuff like that, to help talents, for example, okay, fun talents or stuff like that. I always had that dream, but if I myself is not the person who can help people, how am I supposed to help in that sense of like just knowledge and stuff? Yes, I can do that, but I want to help on a bigger scale one day when I come back. So that's why I thought like, okay, I memang had this love towards finance and stuff, learning about finance, learning how to make money lah basically. Because the reality of racing at that time as well, many people thought, wow, you're racing, you a lot of money and stuff.
Yeah, I think that is always the perspective people will think, okay, racing is technically a very expensive sport.
Yeah,
to be
that's the
in
thing.
is one thing, and then I mean you're highly insured, you're highly paid, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
but they forget the struggle is like that thing only happens maybe when you get
In
to like
F1.
F1.
Yeah, that's the
and
thing.
that's it. That's
Correct.
the crown of everything.
That's the
There
thing.
you get all the endorsement, all the stickers,
Yeah.
all the badges put on your suit and stuff.
Right.
But when you mentioned something unique before we started our podcast, that it was first mutual funds.
Yeah, I did mutual funds.
How did that happen?
Oh
And
my
then
God. To be honest, at that time, like I was searching for things as well, and I came across. He was a really good leader. I think his name was Ritz. Met him at the track at Sepang. He was with his GTR driving me around, and we spoke about like what he was doing. Then at that moment, I felt like, wow, there's so much that I can learn, because I only did A levels, and then but after that I didn't continue anything else. So my last education was A levels. So then I realized, oh, this can be done without a degree, for example. So then he showed me the progress of how his clients were doing, how much they were investing, how much they were getting back and stuff. It wasn't anything like too good to be true at that moment as well. It was like 6 to 8% a year. So I thought like, okay, not too bad. It was okay, decent
better
lah.
than the banks lah at that point.
At that moment, better than the banks lah. Because as you know, my whole life it's always been about ASB, tabung haji, you know, nothing else. Parents always been savings, boom, ASB, tabung haji, nothing else.
Very schematic, Malaysian style. Play safe.
Malaysian style, play safe. But I mean, like, okay lah, better than nothing. I'm grateful for that, all that knowledge. But there is more out there, you know. It's just how far are you searching for it? If you want to search for the crazy ones, I suggest you don't, because don't take the crazy risk. Because at the end of the day, you want to take 6% a month, 5% a month. That's a lot already. Because even for me, my own trading, I only target 2 to 3% from my capital a month, and my drawdowns are just 0.5. So even if I'm trading, let's just say 1 million USD account, I can only lose 5,000 USD per trade. And that's only 0.5%, for example. So I really take care of the risk, because that was during my trading years lah. I've learned a lot about trading, ups and downs. But back to the public mutual story, I feel like it was Ritz. He taught me how to do sales. He taught me about like all this finance stuff. He taught me about looking at the graph for like, okay, which one is a good investment for like 5 years, 7 years. So I kind of like wanted to try this. So I got my whole family involved. I got, of course lah, family first, right? They always support whatever you do. So my mom, my dad, auntie, uncles, friends supported lah. Like, okay, put your funds in and stuff. Then what happened is that I started looking for funds from people, like in public mutual.
I mean, you started going out and
It was,
selling the product.
now when I think about it again, I feel like, okay,
You did that.
a bit weird. But imagine at that moment, I just went for it. Like I just went for it. Because I felt like, yeah, he's not cheating anyone. It's a legal thing to do, to sell public mutual funds. And I was trying to make money from the commissions, obviously. And then I realized one thing. It was not easy to get investors in, number one. Number two, when you deal with investors, the face is on you. Like if the investment is doing well or not. But you have no control. So
you have no control because you just get this amount of fund and then you put it out to them.
correct. You understand? Right? So you have no control. Like how are you supposed to say, like, okay, you just have to trust lah. They get 6 to 8% a year. So I went. First year, honestly, was tough. But the first year for me, tough in the sense of like to find clients who I do not know. The clients who I know, it was easy to close. But let's just say like cold calls. I had to do things. Imagine, bro, from 1 year, I was doing F2 Le Mans to cold calling, tau. I did all this.
You want to buy this shit?
No, not buy shit. Like,
buy the
hi,
fund,
I'm working with public mutual right now. Do you want to invest and stuff like that? Bro, at that moment, I realized like, damn, you're nobody. If like no one, like in a way knows, like just say Nabil, maybe some knows my name, but if you call like that and someone just answers your call, like who are you? Like why you call me and stuff, right? So in that moment, I realized as well, like you have to build your name by not just calling people like that. It's wrong lah for me because people do not know you. You know, it works, but you have to just do it like the offline way where you meet people, then face to face. Then it's fine for me. So I learned how to do face to face as well on that first year with them. Learn how to do sales, how to do all these things, learn how to learn about investments a bit. Then I just thought after 1 year, shit man, this is too tough for me. This is even after I got awards for that year though. I was like second highest in Malaysia and stuff like that.
Wow.
And that's why I think like, when I do something, I feel like I will do it all out. Like however it is lah, find ways to just make it work, you know? That was the mindset I brought from racing. Like, I just want to make it work. This year, again, find sponsor. I want to make it work for next year. End of the year, the same thing. Find sponsors again. I want to make it work. But at that time, I had my dad, my manager lah, Uncle Syed at the time. So the same mindset happened for me when I did public mutual. Like, I want to make it work. It's tough. I want to make it work. After the whole year passed, I realized like, shit, this is not for me. Because number one, I couldn't control the outcome. It's the outcome where I feel like, okay, if you tell me that you can only give 10%, okay, 10% is too good lah. If you only can give me 2%, I have to accept. But you promised me 6 to 8. I have to accept. Of course, many people will say like, just accept lah, it's 2%, it's still good. Yes, but it's not in my control. Even if you get 100% pun, if it's not in my control, it's not good. Because anything can happen, bro. The financial industry with the, this year, so many things happen.
The volatility, the wars.
The wars,
crises,
especially
the
with
pandemic,
gold at its
everything.
highest. It's crazy. So, the best at this moment is to have control of what you do. So that's why I thought like, okay, trading is you yourself. If you press wrongly, you are in control for the losses. Not anyone else. Do not blame anyone else.
But that will also take a lot of knowledge to acquire this whole idea of...
I mean, that's why it developed
Training.
after years, because my first year, like crazy doctor, like I got into it, I just thought like, wow. But first how I got into it is just, I stopped doing public mutual. I just thought like, okay, I think this is done lah. Sales is not for me. I don't like to ask people for money. I don't want to be asking people for money. It's wrong if I was not working public mutual. But then I just like, I want to do things my own self. Like I want to go holiday and trade, or I want to, be at home and trade. I want to be doing whatever that I want to do at my time. So that was what I was searching for lah. Then I found into trading and stuff like that. Started trading. First 3 months, the crazy thing that, trading is like, once you have gotten this one big flip of your life, for example, a 10,000 USD became 90,000 USD, you remember it for life, But the crazy story that happened to me was when I started trading, this is the mistake that I did was I started investing a lot of money straight away. Like I put $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 into my trading account, hoping to make more money, which is the wrong mindset.
Like, you're talking about like this play more, win more.
Correct. But then at that moment, I didn't realize I could also lose a lot more. And I was not ready for that. I was floating, I was holding, and I was just hoping for things to happen my way, which was like, oh shit, this is not good. So that actually taught me like trading is not about big capital, because even big capital, obviously like me, my first 3 months, lose everything, bro. Like 70, 80,000 USD gone, 320,000 ringgit. But for me at that moment, if I can just turn back time and tell myself like, no, you don't have to start with big capital, even 100 USD, even 50 USD, it's something small enough, but for you to learn. Do not learn 1 year, not enough. 2 years, not enough. 3 years, yes. Maybe more, better, but 3 years is minimum for you to actually day in, day out, every day without fail. I'm like 16 hours in front of the PC.
So when you trade like this at the moment, are you trading like local stocks,
No.
or you're talking about?
I'm only trading like gold, basically.
Oh,
like
okay, wow.
100% gold. So I trade based on commodities and forex currencies, because like I feel like I started off trading currencies first, but then I realized like the trend in Malaysia, everyone wants to trade gold. But then gold is just a very volatile asset class, to be honest. Yeah, it is super volatile, especially when it comes to war, when all this fundamental event takes place. Gold would just rise like crazy or drop like crazy.
So in that case, I want to just jump in. Do you predict, or you have to see like all the news and also like forecast whatever's going to happen next, and because see when you mention like playing with like gold, you see it's the world's reserve
Currency.
one thing, and then you have all of this. They were trying to pair it with oil price. They were trying to pair it with so many other things, and it's very geopolitically sensitive.
Yeah.
So, like when is it? I'm pretty sure that you're not going to wait for something to happen then go to the market. No, it's like you already can see the next 3 hours or 4 hours what's going to happen. You're watching all the news. How does that work?
It's crazy because like I have already experienced 2 wars with gold. So the war before this, Ukraine, Russia,
and
also
currently
now,
what's going on.
To be honest, like I do trade gold every single day on a daily basis, but during wars, it's just emphasize the volume. Like you crazy see like 5-6 times the volume that has happening. So we kind of like anticipate these kind of things happening with gold. So that's why gold is one of like the fastest assets that I can trade. It's fast in, fast out, but it can also make you lose a lot of money in that process. Why? Is because when I started trading gold, I didn't have any risk management system, which means that if I lose, how much? I do not know. But if I win, I know. I'm going to hold at 2,000 USD, for example. So when you do not have that, you would start to be gambling lah, You're not sure of what are you risking to what you're getting. So that was the moment where I changed the whole strategy with years of experience. I just felt, okay, I'm only going to risk this amount. And if you ask me, risk or not, of course there's risk. But the risk is on me again. So that's the difference between what I'm doing right now and what I did before. Because if today I feel like, okay, I look at the market, I feel like I want to risk 1,000 USD per trade. The risk is on me. If it goes more than 1,000 USD, it shouldn't. Because I will already set what is my entry price, what is my stop loss, what is the price that I'm willing to take loss, and I'm okay with that. So ask yourself again, like the traders who are out there, like I think 70% are losing traders, to be honest. And
but you've been also to that road.
Of course, like at times I'm still a losing trader. But if you look at it from a quarter perspective, yes, I am profitable, definitely. But losing times, losing streaks, it happened. So that's why it's not like it is a probability game, because you know that your setups can win 3 times, 4 times out of 10, it's still enough to win due to the risk to reward. Because if you understand, like,
it's a long game.
It's a long game. Plus, if you want to risk, let's just say 1 to get 1. In any business as well, if you want to do, if I risk 1, I do not want to get 1. I want to get at least 3, 4, 5. For example, if I open 1 franchise, my goal is to open another franchise. Not enough for me. I need to open at least 3, 4, 5 franchise. Then it's a solid business. So that's the same thing that happened with trading. It's a business. If I put my money, example, 1,000 USD, if I'm going to get back 3,000 or not, or I'm just going to get 500, that's the worst case. But that's bad. Because like, if you risk 1,000 to get 500, that's really bad.
Yeah,
so not many people teach basically the right things in the market. But that's why like Malaysians right now, if you look at TikTok, there's too many people like on TikToks doing education and stuff. I mean, it's good, but there's also the bad side of it, because you should go and ask them like, how long have you been trading? 6 months. Not enough, bro, to be
So
teaching.
will you see that one point that this kind of trading also government agencies will come in to regulate or something to make sure that at least the people have adequate knowledge to have.
I honestly think they would come in one day lah. They should. They should, I think, because like at the moment now it's grey area. It isn't like cannot do this, you cannot do this. It's just with the SCs, and it's just like securities. It's you cannot take funds from people. You're not able to do fund manage if you do not have a license. These are the things like I never take funds from people at all, because even thousands of people, Nabil, please trade for me, please trade for me. But then I cannot, because like as a trader, if you can already trade, it's weird. Why must you take people's fund? You can trade your own fund.
Exactly.
You make your fund bigger and bigger and bigger. To speed up the process, if you want to take investors' fund, I don't think it's needed lah, because you can scale up yourself slowly. That's a safer way without having any risk of taking money from people. Because for me, I've had that like when I was with Pan Mutual, remember? It was taking people's money, they have expectations, but the hell it's not on you. It's like, it's just that was done doing that well. You understand?
Understand. How so? 16 hours of trading. That's a lot of time. It's like 8 hours of sleep, 16 hours of work on the screen.
Crazy.
And I think I want to talk about the health perspective about trading.
Yeah.
See, we live in a different sort of time zone where our markets are not very interesting compared to looking at the European time zone or US time zone where the market sort of like opens at 9 p.m. here.
Weird timing.
So you guys will be awake at night.
Yeah.
And most traders, I see, they actually go in, wake up at night,
Correct.
they check the market, they put their entry points, and then they probably wake up like at 2 or 3 o'clock, check again, and then see before the market close whether they need to do some adjustments and everything.
You sound like a trader lah, doctor.
I read lah, so but you know, I am a chicken in trading.
Okay.
I never liked even buying shares in our own bursas.
Okay, why?
Because I felt like there's always this thing like go and check the market, like every day you need to check and see what's happening to your shares. I kind of like did that in my younger days. Even like when I was like 27, 26, I already had like a that time all this trading all tak ada.
Okay. It was different.
It was just like you have like an account, you can buy the shares online, you have to go and log in. There's not even a proper app at that point. And yes, you can make maybe like 400, 500 ringgit, I think, but that depends on the volume, how many shares you're buying. And then also you need to see what's happening to the companies and this and that. So I rasa macam, why am I stressing myself for this few hundred ringgit that I don't have this mental peace? If suddenly something happens and then suddenly some shares like this drop by 30-40%, alamak, all that 6 months is gone in hours. And then even if you like you want to like cash out, you still have to pay another 2-3% of the brokerage fee and stuff like that. So I never I don't know. Until today, I'm always curious like how these people are reading all these peeps and this candlestick movement and everything. Tetapi the thing I want to ask you is like the 16 hours of trading, a lot of screen.
Yeah.
You have multiple screens sometimes. You have like some people have 2, 3, 4 screens or so.
Right.
And some even can even move the screens with their hand and everything. The focus, how do you keep that? Your sleep.
Yeah.
Focus and sleep. I want to start with that first.
Okay, I think focus is a very good question lah, because my lifestyle changed like after racing. It was from being the fittest guy ever to like I stopped doing sports. Like this was like 3 years I stopped. I was just like too focused on like achieving the state of like becoming the best trader, doing like every single thing, taking notes. Every single thing that I'm doing is for trading at that moment. So purely focus was just that I actually kind of like neglect the rest in a way, which was also my health at that moment. Then after like 3 years, this was like after 3 years lah, I had the realization like I cannot be doing this because it was actually very taxing for the body. But then I was well averse of that. That's why I had like had training sessions after that. After 3 years, I started training again.
Okay.
I started eating like properly again. I started taking like spirulina, things like that, because antioxidants in my body especially is getting lesser with age and with also lifestyle.
Still young, 30, still young.
I know, but like I really have to take care. That's why I take in a lot of smart food, like for example berries, all this. Then
Nice, good. That's good.
yeah, and then because I realized that one thing that was lacking is the quality of food that we're taking on a daily basis compared to, because I just sat down, think about it again, like
You might be just ordering fast food, just
because I
using
was
some e-hailing.
not every day lah McDonald's and stuff, but I didn't think about it. I didn't even put a thought about like what went into my food at that moment, because at that moment it was like Grab, you know, I was Grab every single day, Grab, because I didn't leave the house.
Because you don't want to leave the screen.
Correct, because I just wanted to see the screen, what was going to happen, and I was just trying to learn every single second, and every single second not at the screen was like time wasting for me at that moment. So when I was in that phase, eating was like all over the place, because I know timing is super important when you eat. Your body needs to know the same time. If you eat, for example, every day at 12 is super good for your body after 1 month. I don't know why, but it is what we were told in Italy. You have to eat the same time. That's why in school, for example, you eat at recess at that time every single day. It's actually a very good discipline. But then when you're done with school, you forget this kind of thing.
Betul, very true.
I think that was one thing that, and when I went to Italy, I learned again, okay, eating is actually very important. That moment they taught like what have you need to eat in the morning, for example, what you have to eat for lunch so that it's not too heavy when you, for example if you eat beef after lunch, that's not good, he said, because you have to eat tuna and salad. Then beef is like memang like bad. Even at night it's bad because digestion takes longer time for it in the stomach. And then when all the blood is going to the stomach, you don't want to be focused there. Correct. Then you start being sleepy and stuff like that. So it starts from eating well, training well.
Okay.
That was the mindset.
So for you, it should be not like eating well, trading well.
Now it's actually like, I think 1 year ago I feel the realization start. So what I did was I sat down, I took what I've learned to become the best racing driver. Like, okay, what do I need to be doing that? So I kind of like discipline. I have to train at least. At that moment, I was training every day twice. Now I think like, okay, maybe that's not my goal, but I'll still train every single day. I was eating well. I was doing massage, because many people not knowing that actually massage is very important. You have to do also ALS. So this is like stretching, like, I don't know if you...
all the ligaments and all
correct.
the joints
so
and everything.
I have like sessions like once a week for doing all of this, just to make sure that my body is prepped to really handle the stress of trading. Because trading is damn stressful.
Because you get a lot of joints, shoulder, back
correct.
pain.
Everything.
Then you end up slouching.
Because I sit down, for example, 16 hours a day. So then I realized... I have to sit like that. Then you know what happened to me? I was diagnosed with like L4, L5 sleep days.
Oh.
So basically like, I was having pain.
From
I was
fully fit and then
that's
suddenly...
the thing. Crazy, doctor. Like, memang up and then down, and then the process of like recovering too yang made me like realize, appreciate my health, appreciate my lower back, appreciate the muscles that can still work without pain. You understand? Because I have moments that I had to sleep straight. If I sleep sengit sikit, the next morning they can aggravate my back. So I said, shit, I have to start doing something. So that was the moment where I have to start training, start massage, start doing everything again, move while becoming a trader.
Okay.
So I kind of like put it together in that way. So that's why I think these days it's better as well in terms of like
Nice.
outcome and stuff.
How is the big element? I think for traders out there, the biggest thing I always concern when I see patients, and then they tell me they are a trader, just like you.
Stress lah.
And the biggest question yang I can tanya them is like, okay, how is your sleep? And what time do you sleep and what time you get? Because we are not sitting in New York or California or something like that. We are way across the time zone. So how is sleep to you at the moment?
To be honest, doctor, it's not doing well. That's why I need advice from you.
Okay, so what would be your sleeping time?
Minimum at 3 a.m.
So you sleep at 3 and then what time you wake up?
I wake up for subuh at so that's why I sleep for like 2 hours and then I sleep again and I wake up around 10, 11.
Okay.
So that's like the break of sleep of like 2 hours and then like wake up a bit, sleep again for like 3 hours.
So then from about like 5, 6 o'clock you
Then I
sleep.
sleep until 10, 11 sometimes.
So you're getting like 4, 5 hours this side and then 2 hours this side. So that's probably about 7. But then when you wake up still at 11, you still don't feel.
Yeah, that's the thing. I
feel like very fresh, right? Unless you're on the weekend when you don't trade lah.
Correct. And like weekends, because like when I wake up, even though let's just say I slept at 3, I wake up at 11 or 10, it's a bad feeling, you know. Like I feel like why can I feel it's bad? Because on weekends I can not sleep early, but I sleep like normal 12, and then I wake up like 8, 9. Even that is like wow, a huge difference of like waking up at like 8 in the morning and like waking up at like 10, 11.
Yeah. Do you have any naps in the afternoon?
Now I try to, but like I'm not that sleepy in the afternoon usually. I'm very energetic. So because I start working at like 3 p.m.
So
what
is 3 p.m?
So I basically entered the office at like 3 p.m. So what happened is that there will be meetings for like they call IBs. So these are the people who I develop. They have their trading skills. They just come and then we just give them plans on how do you achieve your financial goal as an IB. IB is like the one I explained just now lah. They kind of like marketing for the broker, direct marketing for the broker, and they would do it just for themselves lah. Because the more clients that they bring, the more people trade under them. This is how they can make
so
income.
they also
from them.
train people.
They train. Yeah, that's how they make income. Basically, people don't pay them. The brokers pay them fees in terms of commission.
Understand. So then, by then that will finish be about 5, 6 o'clock, and then you're back home.
And then what happened? No, I actually work until like 2, 3 a.m. That's why.
So you don't go home lah.
No.
So it means you enter work at 3 and then you
Correct.
go back at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. So
2 a.m. I would leave.
So this is something that very interesting, that to understand our circadian rhythm. So usually after like the last prayer about 8:30, 9 o'clock, right, is the time that we supposed to go into bed.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, that is like our universal clock.
8, 9.
So lepas maghrib ni, after the semayang isyak already, it's a time for us to like wind down. So this is when apparently one top UK lecturer mentioned about our liver has its own liver clock.
Okay.
And this liver clock actually works around like about 10 to 2 o'clock in the morning, doing all of this cleansing and detoxing work. So every time you miss that time, maksudnya you miss that alam flora punya clean up that time.
Shit.
So and then this thing piles up and piles up and piles up. So when you miss that time, you miss it. So and then another issue, okay, you have this nap between like maybe 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, you masuk tidur, then you wake up for prayers, maybe you go to use the washroom and everything, and then start sleeping back again from 6 until 10. Okay, this is the trick. When you sleep from 6 to about 10 or 11, is your room fully blackout?
Fully blackout.
That's a good thing. So if you have a room that is actually ada cahaya masuk, light coming in and stuff like that, your body, even though you sleep, is very sensitive to light. If I close my eyes and then put to the light, I can still somehow feel we are sensitive to light. That's how we produce our vitamin D and everything. So even though like if the room is fully pitch black, then you are almost like accommodating this winter-like position. So it's like very dark environment. But to compensate that, when you wake up, you sort of like need to also expose yourself to enough of lighting, like sunlight and everything. Right. Especially that that 10 o'clock to this 2 o'clock sunlight is very, very good. So that time it's like fully curtains open, get as much light to come in because your body need to like sort of like recharge.
That's perfect lah. Actually, that's actually what I do every day.
Yeah. So that's one thing very neat thing to do. And then with an industry that needs you to be very focused, things like omega-3 fatty acids, like fish oil,
B+.
your B complexes are very, very important. And then the antioxidants is for you to like chill down, because sometimes you have a lot of these free radicals because you see your liver is not able to metabolize at that point. So you need to actually like plan the body to actually focus on that detoxing process and support the liver. So like having this like junky food, I mean it's like too deep fried, alcohol is something that I wouldn't recommend. It's like almost like nanti macam you hari-hari tengah pergi clubbing like that. So it's very dangerous to the body because it doesn't protect the liver. So the issue with a lot of people, sama ada yang kerja dalam trading and also people who work in like call center, you have the same problem. Okay, because in trading is different. it is your money on stake. So any wrong decision or poorly made call can make you to lose.
Correct.
And if you win, you go into this happy mode and sleep. Oh, okay, I made this much money, I can sleep. But if you lose badly, you will have a crappy sleep. Like, Allah, why I did that mistake? You keep having this regret or regress in the brain. So that even doesn't allow you to sleep on point.
Yeah.
You will be like
So that's when I realized like what I learned last time was I had to sleep. This was when I was racing Le Mans, the 24 hours. So in that moment I had to drive for like 2-3 hours. We had to sleep. Keluar kereta, full adrenaline, kena tidur for like 2 hours.
How do you bring that down so
So that's the thing. That was the training he had, like the breathing techniques, and then like there's some supplements that you can take as well for like really relaxing first. And then like how the army sleeps, you sleep for like this, for example, and then you have to change at that 30 minutes, so that your body don't just adapt to one sleeping position. So everything was like planned. So with that knowledge of like able to sleep, that's why for me, like even at bad days, good days, I have no problem sleeping at all. I feel it was looking forward to sleep. But used to be when I started trading, wow, it was tough to sleep. Even with the trainings of like I had from Le Mans and all this, I just didn't know how to apply that to my trading.
Because you were playing in the wrong time.
I think so. Like wrong time, and then my experience in the trading field was not enough at that moment. Then with time, I just realized, okay, this can be done. Like, you know, good days, bad days, it is there. You have to go on with life lah.
Good. So how one last question. I mean,
It's okay
how
like
do you actually cope with winning and losing? Because see, your mental capacity and your mental experience is par excellence. Someone is putting you in the pit at 300 over kilometers per hour, and cars are coming left, right, center.
Yeah.
Anything can happen, and then you at the same time you need to have this utmost focus to beat and squeeze through and overtake. And also like defend your spot. So a lot of things goes on at 300 kilometers per hour. This is not driving down the road with 40 kilometers and looking side by side saying hello to the auntie on the road. No, it's not like that. But how do you how that thing helps you now with trading? Because you can accept wins, you can accept defeats, you can accept to defend and hold your position.
I think it just comes back with the discipline that the racing had taught me, because it's not forgiving, these racing sports. Why I'm saying that is, you imagine all the prep that you're doing for a race. For example, we have a race this weekend. This weekend we have a race. The preparation starts on Monday. We do simulator training. Tuesday, simulator. travel day, Wednesday, walk track, blah, 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 meeting, just for one race. Imagine in that race, in the first corner, a car crashes into you. So how are you supposed to feel on that moment for all the preparation that you have done?
Whole week, right?
For the whole week, for you to fly for like imagine 14 hours to the moment to the racetrack, and then the first corner you get hit, and then you're done for the week. You're off. So in that moment, I that's the thing. It happened to me, and I just had no choice but to accept. Acceptance at its best, because when I accept, I can move on to what is my next race. I'm really looking forward to my next race. If I was just I cannot accept and move on from that situation of the first corner, your mindset will not be open to accept your next race. You will always bring the energy of like the bad vibes of. That's why if you see F1 drivers, bad things happen, boom, they can move on. They're very good at that. So I think that was one thing that I use as well for my life. So whatever happens, wins, loss, you have to move on with your life. You have to still sleep, get quality sleep. Tomorrow, wake up again, do the same thing, repeat. But I just can distinguish both. At this moment, I feel because of the experience that I've been into trading. It's not just one day I wake up, I can control. No, it's not like that. I've had moments, bro, like I cried when I was in a losing trade. Because why do you cry? Because you expect it did not happen. In trading, you cannot expect. That was my problem. I expected it to happen my way. It did not happen.
Same goes like racing.
Correct. Sometimes people hit you. Sometimes you hit people. Sometimes your engine break down. Sometimes your car. There's a lot of factors to make it a win. It's not just you. So learn to accept was very important in the racing industry so that you can focus on your next race. So I use it in trading as well. Like slowly I learn to accept. So if I didn't have the mindset, I might have not still be able to accept losses until today. So I think racing definitely helped me to become the trader I am today.
Nice. So one take-home message for young racers and young traders out there. What are you going to say to them?
I think for these people, right? First, you have to do things that you're passionate about. Do it with your passion, from your heart. Do it with love. Because if you do it with love, you will not find it as a work. You will find it like something that you enjoy waking up to. Because I remember one thing that this person said. He had a son who was racing. He said to me, if one day I had to wake up my son at 5 a.m. for training, means that's the day we stop racing. So the amount of passion that he had for that made me realize wow, I had that in me. So for those of you guys out there, I feel, follow your heart, follow your passion. If you truly love something, just go for it. And if you feel like you're not for it, then just leave it. You don't have a long life. 70 years, right? Expectancy.
More than that now.
So you have to do something that will not be able to make you regret in the future. Because like for me, racing, I never regret racing. It was the best thing that happened to me. I love racing so much, but I have to move on. If you ask me one day, will I race again? Maybe one day, why not? If I was sponsored again to race or even able to pay for my own race, I would just go to have my passion being a reality back again, like a kid. So follow your passion, because you would find ways out from it with your passion, true passion. Even though you don't end there as your passionate job, for example, find something and get back to your passion at the end of the day. Because that is the only thing that drives human, passionate things.
That's like the fire inside everybody, right? Yeah.
Anything you do, you should be successful because you're doing it with pure passion and love.
Nice. Okay, Nabil, thank you so much for being here in this episode at Lesung Batu Medic Show. We try to bring different people to our table to discuss about things that related to health, emotion, physicality, strong mental and everything. Itu saja untuk kali ni. Jangan lupa untuk like and subscribe to our show on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook and also Instagram, Lesung Batu Medic Show. Sehingga kita bertemu di episod yang akan datang. Kita lesung kau.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks, man.
It's really good lah.